been a very chaotic morning trying to get ready. The kids don't want me to leave, and it's always hard leaving the kids when they don't want me to leave. It's also hard leaving the wife when she's not feeling well. Are you gonna survive? Alright guys, we are officially on the road to Indianapolis to see my brother for a while. It's a 14-hour drive, probably won't do it all in one day, and I'm going to do it by way of Tennessee instead of probably the more direct route that I think is 45 minutes shorter, because Illinois is pretty much a terrible place that doesn't recognize the concealed handgun licenses of any other state in the country. So it would be I think it's like some serious level felony for me to travel through that state to get to Indianapolis. I haven't been on a really long road trip in a while. I'm actually looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to sort of the solitude. I'm looking forward to catching up on some audiobook reading that I have been neglecting for the past couple years that I've been pretty busy. I've got some great audiobooks lined up. Some I've read before, some I haven't. Let's see, what do I have? I have Walter Block's Defending the Undefendable, which I'm very much looking forward to. The Law by Bastiat. I've got Human Action by Ludwig von Mises, and I've got Animal Farm as well. Since I'll be going through Memphis instead of up the more northerly route, maybe we can hit it up for some barbecue as well. I've had barbecue from there before, and I gotta say, Texas barbecue is better. I'm not even going to qualify that. It's just better. When Texans try and do Memphis-style barbecue, they seem to do it better than Memphis. So first audiobook up will be The Law by Frederick Bastiat. It's not a very long one, I don't think. One of the many things I love about Texas is that you can at the same time have one of the most advanced, entrepreneurial, forward-thinking city in the world, Dallas, and at the same time, and only a short drive away, a virtually unlimited amount of wide open spaces. Texas doesn't feel cramped. It doesn't feel claustrophobic like a lot of the cities and places I've visited. Even the ones with like mountains and hills and stuff. I mean, that stuff's beautiful for a while. I don't know, I just start to feel like cramped. I start to feel like contained or something. Gotta get back to Texas where I can stretch out. I don't know if this is going to show up on the camera well, but something weird has been happening. It's gotten very foggy over the past half an hour, like everywhere. And at first I thought maybe there was some kind of fire up ahead, maybe a grass fire or something like that, but the temperature has also dropped about 20 degrees in the past hour of driving, so maybe it's just natural fog, but everything, it's gotten like cloudy and foggy. It's just really weird that it changed so quickly or the fog rolled in so fast. I think I'm going to try and get the drone up in the air and just see what it looks like from up there. Might be cool. The drone is damp. Like, just from flying up in that fog, it's damp. That's crazy. It's cold, too. Wow, that was cool. So we're in Texarkana. That's right. The city's name is Texarkana. It's named that because it sits right on the corner of the border of 3 different states, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. So I just finished the audiobook, Frederick Bastiat's The Law. Good stuff. A really short book. Doesn't take long to digest. He talks about what the purpose of the law is. What is law for? And I think a great answer to that question is the law is there to protect rights and resolve or prevent disputes from happening, or to resolve them when they do happen. It's also interesting to hear somebody who wrote a book 160 some odd years ago talking about like basic libertarian principles that hold equally true today as they did before. And in fact, he used them to predict the future. And sure enough, here we are 160 plus years later, And he's correct. Anytime you have somebody 160 years ago predicting the future correctly, you have to at least take a moment to consider what they're saying, because they probably have a few other things right as well. So here we have somebody forever ago applying the exact same principles that we talk about today as if they're still up for debate, when this stuff was settled long ago. And not only were these principles settled a long time ago, but they were so correct that they've been aptly, successfully able to predict the future, the current. The next big takeaway that I got was a really cool analysis of the types of laws that are out there. Let's start high level. You have two types of laws. You have laws that legalize a behavior, and you have laws that illegalize a behavior or prevent or attempt to stop a behavior. The first type of law that merely legalizes an existing behavior or interaction or activity is a completely pointless law, because without the law, the activity or the action or the connection between two people would have still happened, so there's no point in making the law. There's no point making a law saying something is legal. Just don't make the law. It'll happen anyway. So the second of those two options is a law intended to prevent something from happening, to prevent an interaction from taking place, or to prevent some activity. So in the case of this type of law, you ostensibly need a law, because without it, this activity that you wanted to block would actually go ahead and happen. But this type of law can be broken down even further into another two types of prohibitive laws, right? You have a law prohibiting the infringement of your rights, meaning stopping bad behavior, basically. And then you have a law preventing things that aren't an infringement of rights, basically preventing some arbitrary aesthetic behavior that someone decided they didn't like. So let's analyze these two types of laws again. In the first type, you have a law created to prevent bad behavior, to prevent people that basically disallows one person from harming, damaging, or infringing on the rights of another person. Well, you can't talk about these laws without talking about the people's rights. Well, what are rights? Rights, in a way, are pre-existing law. Your right to property means that there is a rule in place that says you can own property, and the property that you own is inviolate, that other people can't damage or steal your property. So rights themselves are basic, natural, pre-existing laws. So the laws that are intended to protect your rights are basically duplicates. They're basically a waste of time, because we already have rights and we don't need laws to protect the laws, the natural laws, which we call rights, that we already have. So the final division of that second category are the laws that criminalize arbitrary behavior that someone decided is wrong. So these are the laws where there are no victim, because no one's rights are being violated. This is arbitrary stuff, like don't build a flagpole over a certain height in your county. They're called victimless crimes, which really aren't crimes at all. So this type of law is needed when you need to force people, use government force to get people to do something or stop them from doing something that they otherwise would, that isn't a crime. A voluntary, peaceful behavior that doesn't infringe on anyone's rights, but yet you want to use the force of government to force them to take an action or prevent them from taking some action. This is the type of law I have the most problem with. I would tell you unequivocally that it is an invalid type of law, or immoral type of law. If you have to use the government's force to get your way in an arbitrary manner when no one's rights are being violated and there are no victims, you have an immoral, unethical law. And so that's one of the points about law that I kind of thought about from reading this book, was that you don't need laws to make people do what they were already going to do. You only need laws to stop them from doing things that they were already going to do. And if the only real reason that you need to do that is because you have a preference that someone behaves in a certain way or doesn't behave in a certain way, then basically all laws are kind of a waste of time. Because let's think about the three types we just talked about. You have laws that legalize things that were already going to happen, waste of time, duplicate, unnecessary. You have laws that protect our rights, which our rights existed without law and don't need laws to tell us that the rights need to be protected, so those are a waste of time. And you have laws that criminalize things based on opinions of politicians and busybodies, which are unethical. So aside from a basic recognition of natural rights, laws are hopelessly unnecessary. Like, we could just have one law: don't infringe on other people's rights. Anyway, it was a great book. It was a short book, only like 2.5 hours to listen to at a slightly sped up pace. I'd recommend it to others, at least the first half. Great stuff. Okay, full tank of gas. We are 4 hours from Memphis, which is sort of the halfway point. I am running behind, but it's because I keep stopping to mess around and get drone shots and have fun. So, it's fine. I mean, the point of a road trip is to have fun along the way, right? And it's a long road trip, so I better stop and do something, which might make it take a little longer. That's fine. So, 4 hours from Memphis. I want to push past the halfway point. I don't want a lot of driving to do tomorrow. I want to get on to see my brother quickly, so I'm gonna see how far I can go. Right now I'm torn between trying to like sleep in the car and getting a hotel, because getting a hotel will be a pain in the ass to like, because I don't even know where I'm gonna stop yet. I don't really plan ahead. I haven't really planned this. I just kind of got in the car and started driving. Anyway, I got coffee, I got gas, and my next audiobook will be Human Action, A Treatise on Economics by Ludwig von Mises. Except that I just saw that the audiobook is 47 hours and 43 minutes. So I'm not sure if I'm going to start that one next. We'll see. Maybe I'll do Animal Farm. It's only 3 hours. That sounds good. I've been wanting to read Animal Farm for a long time, so I'll probably do that one next. Alright, it's 11 p.m. I just made it to Memphis. For some reason they have a giant egg out front. Not too sure on this. Well, it looks like I got here too late. They're closed. I really wanted to take the drone up just for a second to get the cityscape though, and there's this really weird Bass Pro pyramid over there. Let's see if I can be sneaky about it.
I will sing you that song now, comrades. I am old and my voice is hoarse. But when I have taught you the tune, you can sing it better for yourselves. It is called Beasts of England. Beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, hearken to my joyful tidings of the golden future time. Soon or late the day is coming, tyrant man shall be o'erthrown, and the fruitful fields of England shall be trod by beasts alone. Rings shall vanish from our noses, and the harness from our back. Bit and spur shall rust forever, cruel whips no more shall crack.
Cool. Well, I got some pretty sweet footage, which you'll probably be looking at right now, of this insane pyramid Bass Pro Shop store hybrid hotel thing. I stopped in to see what their rates were. You know, I figured if they were going to toss me a room real cheap, I'd stay in the pyramid and check out the Bass Pro Shop in the morning, but even though they're completely empty, they didn't want to come below a couple $100 for their crappiest room. Anyway, so on to Nashville. So we are a little over halfway now, hitting the 500-mile mark, 420 more miles to go. Probably end up trying to sleep in Nashville. I don't know, just depending on how we're feeling. It's 11:52 now. Next up on the audiobook list will be Walter Block's Defending the Undefendable. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's 8 hours long though, so we'll definitely not finish it tonight. We are approaching 3 a.m., just past 700 miles, just passed through Nashville. The downtown city looked amazing at night. I wanted to stop and get some footage of it because it was so pretty, but I had a choice to make. I have a meeting at 10 a.m. I could probably drive till 7. That's not a big deal. It's not that late for me even now. But I do have a meeting at 10, so I need to get some sleep. So then the next decision is, do I find a hotel? Do I book a room? Do I pay I guess the decent hotels are like 120 plus a night? Or I could get one of the truck stop motels that are like 30, 40, 50 a night and really shady. Not feeling good about that. Or I've been watching this YouTube channel by this chick named Hobo Alley. I'll link it in the description. She's lived for a fair amount of time out of her car and seemingly quite comfortable. So I'm thinking about, what do I have? In my car, I have everything I need to sleep. I brought a really nice, heavy, warm down comforter because Indianapolis is supposed to be like 17 degrees, which is insane. I shouldn't even be going there right now. And if Hobo Alley can sleep out of the back of a Jeep Liberty for weeks or months or whatever, I can do one night in a Yukon Denali with a pretty big back end. So I think my plan is to attempt to sleep in my car. And again, I'm going to take another tip from her channel. Her favorite places to sleep are nice hotel parking lots or Walmart parking lots, because both are well lit. There's traffic coming and going at all times of the day, and they don't really mind if you're there. I'm going to save some money. I only need to sleep for a few hours anyway. I'll get up in time for my meeting, get back on the road, and get on to see my brother. So that's the plan. Well, that's it for day one, ladies and gentlemen. So far, this is pretty comfy. Not bad at all. The only surprise was that I had forgotten about a security feature on this car. It's got like this motion detecting radar inside, and so if after the car's locked anything moves, it thinks someone has broken in and sets it off. So I had to locate the button to disable that little feature, at least for tonight. See you tomorrow.
And in place of a moral, there is only the tragic chorus of the donkey Benjamin, who held that life would go on as it had always gone on, that is, badly. This is not like the kind of moral that tells us to look before we leap, or not to count our boobies before they are hatched. For the animals never had a chance to choose, and if they had, it would have made no difference. It is just this sense of purposeless cruelty, though, that gives the clue to Orwell's purpose, as well as to his deadly serious reason for calling Animal Farm a fairy story.